So with that, let's get started with our candidates for the Commonwealth Court. And I welcome Judge Stella Tsai and Mr. Matthew Wolford. Thank you both for being here and joining us this evening, Judge Tsai and Mr. Wolford. Again, we're going to start with opening statements from each candidate. The order for the candidate statements was randomly selected by Colleen, actually. So our first, we'll hear from Judge Tsai, followed by Mr. Wolford. So Judge Tsai,
okay.
Please, 2 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I just have one question from a logistical standpoint, or my internet coverage is a little shaky at this point. So if I fade out, my apologies, but I hope that didn't take any of my any
We'll be
seconds off, but I
attentive to
just
time.
wanted to mention that. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. So many thanks to the Legal Women Voters, the Committee of 70, and the Pennsylvania Commonwealth Courts for sponsoring this judicial forum. It's been my honor to serve as a judge of the Court of Common Pleas for the last 9 years, after being appointed by Governor Tom Wolf in 2016, then winning election in my own right in 2017. I've decided to run for Commonwealth Court because it weighs in some of the most important issues of our day, including voting rights, workers' rights, free and fair elections, public education, the environment. And a lot of this happens before it gets to the Supreme Court, and not all these cases do. As the sitting judge in this race for Commonwealth Court, I am the candidate. I think that's best prepared to serve on this court. That's because I had the experience, both as a judge and as a lawyer, to address the issues and the breadth of cases heard by the Commonwealth Court. I've made it my life's work to ensure their legal system is fair and accessible to all Pennsylvanians. From the time I was a child, I've never taken democracy for granted. I was born in the United States of America, a citizen, because my parents left Taiwan at a time that the country was under the control of a repressive regime that imposed martial law until 1987. That regime imprisoned my uncle Tetsu for 18 years for the crime of producing plays that were critical of the government. And he did end up in the United States, fortunately, opened up an ice cream shop, and is probably one of the happiest and most cheerful people I've ever met. I tried his ability to be who he is and who he wanted to be, because he could speak freely. History and those of others' life are a reminder of how precious our rights are, and underscore how important this judicial election is. So thank you. I guess I have two more seconds. Just wanted to add that don't take for granted our democracy nor my family. My husband, Paul McCarthy, just retired from the school district of Philadelphia after 20-some-year career. Our 23-year-old son, Emmett, is an animator. Our 31-year-old son, Atticus, now lives in Denmark and works as...
Thank you. Thank you for that. And we look forward to hearing more from you. Mr. Wolford, your opening statements, please.
Thank you very much. Good evening, and thank you to the League of Women Voters for hosting this forum. My name is Matt Wolford, and I'm privileged and honored to be a candidate for the Judge of the Commonwealth Court of Pennsylvania. I've devoted my career to understanding and applying the law in service to the people of the Commonwealth. Early in my career, I served as a civil litigation attorney in the Pennsylvania Office of Attorney General in Philadelphia, during which time I argued my first appeal in the Commonwealth Court. That was 1989. I later prosecuted environmental crimes as the attorney in charge of the Attorney General's office, field office in Meadville. And then I went on to serve as assistant counsel and regional counsel for the Department of Environmental Protection, also in Meadville, representing the Commonwealth in complex matters before state and federal courts, including a number of cases argued before the Commonwealth Court. That was one of the main courts that DEP actions go to. Today, I run my own law practice in Erie. I focus on environmental law, and I help individuals and small businesses navigate government regulations. I also share my knowledge as a lecturer for the Pennsylvania Bar Institute and other professional organizations, and I've taught environmental law as an adjunct professor at Gannon University, Thiel College, and Allegheny College. The Commonwealth Court plays a vital role in ensuring our government follows the law and protects the rights of every Pennsylvanian. My experience, which spans government litigation counsel, state prosecutor, state agency counsel, and private practice, has prepared me to serve impartially and with respect for both the rule of law and the people it protects. I'm highly recommended by the Pennsylvania Bar Association and endorsed by law enforcement, including the Pennsylvania State Troopers Association and the Pennsylvania State Lodge of the Fraternal Order of Police. I'm also a lifelong Pennsylvanian, a husband, proud father of 4 children, all in their 20s. I know firsthand the importance of fair, efficient, and even-handed judiciary. I respectfully ask for your support and your vote so I can continue to serve the Commonwealth with integrity and dedication. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. And thank you, both of you, for those opening remarks. We are now going to move into our question and answer phase. The order for answering questions will alternate between candidates. And since we started opening statements with Judge Tsai, I'll be starting our questions with Mr. Wolford. So starting with Mr. Wolford, why are you seeking to serve as an appellate court judge? You're on mute and you have 1 minute once you go off mute. Oh,
How about
there we
now?
go. Yep, great.
That happened automatically. I didn't arrange for that, so sorry about that. Well, I'm not serving, or I'm not running for any court. It's the Commonwealth Court in particular. I enjoy appellate work. I like the academic rigor of it, but as I indicated, this is the court that I've been in front of pretty much my entire career. My first case was in the 1980s. The Commonwealth Court's both a trial court and a court of appeals, and I've been in front of the court in both capacities over the years. It's the appellate court I've spent the most time in, and it's also a trial court. I actually have a trial court matter in front of them right now. The reason that the Commonwealth Court is so important is because it deals with government regulation and how much government is enough government and how much is too much. We have a lot of regulations in Pennsylvania. The antithesis of that is personal freedoms and private property rights. And so we need common sense judges that understand how much government is enough government and put some restrictions on unreasonable regulation. Thank you.
Thank you. And Judge Tsai, why are you seeking to serve as an appellate court judge?
I just would state something I mentioned earlier, is that having served as a judge of the Court of Common Pleas in Philadelphia, and also having had the opportunity to serve as a litigant, I have had cases that were litigated before the Commonwealth Court, and find that it's a forum because of, as Matt mentioned, the court that deals with government appeals, both as a trial court and appellate court, that the challenge of handling those cases is of particular interest to me. I've had a few number of cases that were tried, especially in the election and voting rights area, and just found that it's a thing that I enjoy. I like working. I understand how to collaborate with individuals, which is one of the things that happens when you're at the level, is that you have these 3 panels, and you also get to serve as a trial judge, which is something I've enjoyed years.
Thank you for that. I have a question coming up in a few minutes about the
I was
scope
walked
and
off, or I was asked to complete my statement. Is that right?
Oh, sorry.
The
Sorry,
music?
I didn't. You broke up. Sorry. All right, sorry about that, everyone.
Okay.
I have a question about the scope and the work of the Commonwealth Court coming up, but I wanted to ask both of you, and so I'm going to start with Judge Tsai. What would you say to those who are concerned about the amount of money being spent on statewide judicial elections, including from donors outside the Commonwealth? And what steps would you take to maintain independence from campaign contributors and special interests?
So, thank you. Should I answer that question first?
Yes, yes, please, Judge Tsai.
Okay. So, our current code of judicial conduct provides good limitations on and tries to mitigate the influence of any contributions. I mean, I think that we have decided, and that's the way we're set up, is that we have judicial races that are competitive, at least on, from a partisan standpoint, when you get elected. But then when you move to the retention, it's supposed to be essentially a performance review based on your competence and how well you've done, and it's not nonpartisan. And there are certain restrictions. Our code does say that if there's a certain amount of obligation, we have an ethics code that requires us to make sure that if there are contributions that are excessive, or you get a number that we measure ourselves, or we make sure that we understand what it would subject us to disqualification, handling a manner involving an individual who may have given a lot of money.
All right, thank you for
So
that.
I think that we do have restraints, and I think that.
I'm sorry, Judge, it's breaking up a little bit, so I'm having a hard
Okay.
time knowing when you stop speaking and when we should.
Okay, that's
be
fine. I don't know what's up with this internet here, but let's keep our fingers crossed that the rest will work well. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so Mr. Wolford, what would you say to those concerned about the amount of money being spent on statewide judicial elections, and what steps would you take to maintain independence from campaign contributors and special interests?
Well, I think it's unfortunate that judicial races have become so political. I haven't really seen that in the Commonwealth Court race, the one that we're in. Not surprisingly, because I think outside political contributions are more interested in the Supreme Court, because they tend to set policy as opposed to sort of the nuts and bolts of deciding cases. And so I don't know that that's a big problem for this particular race. I think it's unfortunate that money influences all politics. And frankly, I think it's unfortunate that we have a partisan process for electing judges in Pennsylvania. We're one of few states that do it this way, but you have to, pick which party you're in to run. And then you run under that party banner, which people take, they have perceptions about that, even though it may have nothing to do with their qualifications. And then when you're done, you can't be partisan at all. And so it's an odd process, and I just think we should try to keep as much money out of it as possible.
Thank you for that. I want to turn now to what you both actually referenced a few minutes ago about the work of the Commonwealth Court. Starting with Mr. Wolford, the Commonwealth Court is primarily responsible, as you noted, for cases involving state and local governments and regulatory agencies, but it also acts as a trial court where lawsuits are filed by or against the Commonwealth. So my question for you, and then for Judge Tsai, what experience do you bring that prepares you for this work?
As I indicated in my opening remarks, I started my career working for the Attorney General's office in Philadelphia, where I defended Commonwealth agencies, PennDOT, State Police, Department of Health, but any state agency that was being sued. Those cases involve sovereign immunity and Commonwealth parties, which is why they go to the Commonwealth Court. The Commonwealth Court deals not only with Commonwealth parties, but also certain subject matters such as election law, eminent domain, zoning, all of those sorts of things. The way that the structure works of trial courts that feed into the Commonwealth Court is a lot of times they're not the Court of Common Pleas, they are actually state agencies. And that's like the Environmental Hearing Board is my main trial court when I'm dealing with the DEP matter, Department of Environmental Protection. And so if you understand that structure, which I do because I work for the state agency and I was the head of a state agency, and I understand rulemaking and I understand how the regulations work and I understand how they all feed into the Commonwealth Court, I think is very helpful to have a knowledge of the inner workings of Commonwealth agencies for this court.
Thank you. And Judge Tsai, what experience do you bring to this work?
So I think that the work that I've done through my career as a lawyer and certainly as a judge are beneficial. And, when I served as the chair of administrative law at the City of Philadelphia Law Department, I oversaw the cases involving social service agencies and labor and employment claims, and I helped to rewrite our zoning code in Philadelphia. I also understand, and this is a thing that is very useful, the challenges of managing caseloads and setting timelines for addressing cases, and have certainly served in kind of an appellate situation where we did an en banc on it was a criminal case, but understand how it is to it's second nature to me now, how to handle these types of cases. And certainly serving on the Judicial Ethics Advisory Board has been helpful to me too, because I've learned a lot about operations of certain courts. And I heard the music, so I'll stop.
Thank you. I believe we have time for one more question before we move to closing remarks and then on to our Superior Court candidates. And the question I would like to ask, starting with Judge Tsai, is Pennsylvania's 3 co-equal branches of government serve as checks on each other's power, right? We have separation of powers at the federal level and at the state level. How do you see the role of the judiciary in maintaining that balance?
It's essential, and I believe that I think it's been recently said that certainly the courts do not make the law, but interpret it and also make sure that individual rights are protected under our Pennsylvania Constitution, which, as you probably know, is older and more comprehensive than the U.S. Constitution. And to ensure that the parties who, I think one important role we play is to ensure that our people who encounter the legal system or the judicial system feel that they are treated fairly and impartially when they encounter the system. I mean, I think one of the key issues for us is that we have litigants who need to feel that they are getting a fair shot at justice when they come to the courts, because it's important that we have a contract with our populace, and it's important that they feel that the system works for them. And so to me, it is essential that the courts do their job in making sure that the rights of people are protected.
Great. Thank you for that. And Mr. Wolford, to you, how do you see the role of the judiciary in maintaining the balance across the branches of government?
I think this has become a problem in recent years. The courts and judges need to stay in their lane. So if judges respect the rule of law, then they also respect the constitutional and the separation of the 3 powers that you identified. If you respect the rule of law, number 1, you uphold the Constitution. Number 2, you interpret and apply statutes as they were intended by the legislature. We actually have a statute that requires that of judges in Pennsylvania. And you don't legislate from the bench is the third thing. And so once judges start engaging in that sort of thing, what they're doing is they're actually making policy decisions that is really the province of the legislature, and they should not do that. In my field, we also have regulations which are promulgated by the executive branch, which sort of muddies the waters a little bit. But judges, I think it's important that they understand their role is deciding cases in accordance with the law and not trying to make policy decisions and not trying to tell the executive branch how to do their job.
Great. Thank you both for that. It is time now for our closing statements. So we have 2 minutes of closing statements per candidate, and we will offer our closing statements in reverse. So as Judge Tsai kicked us off with the opening statement, we'll have Mr. Wolford lead us off with the closing statement.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And thank you to the League of Women Voters and everyone who joined in the forum tonight. I appreciate the opportunity to answer questions and share my thoughts about the Commonwealth Court. Throughout my career, I've served the people of the Commonwealth from many perspectives. First, as a civil litigator, working for the Commonwealth, and then as a prosecutor for the AG's office, then as assistant regional counsel for the DEP, the Department of Environmental Protection. And now I'm a small business owner practicing environmental law in Erie. In each of these roles, I've argued numerous cases before state and federal courts and state tribunals, which feed into the Commonwealth Court. The appellate court where I've appeared most often is the Commonwealth Court, and I've also appeared in its original jurisdiction, and I have a case there now. I think this broad experience matters. The Commonwealth Court decides issues that affect every citizen, how state agencies carry out the law, how local governments operate, how personal freedoms and private property rights are protected from government overreach. These are the things that the Commonwealth Court deals with, and I know processes inside and out. I'm committed to applying the law as it's written with fairness, integrity, and independence. My goal is to have a court that's efficient, transparent, and above politics and serves all Pennsylvanians equally. I'm also a lifelong Pennsylvanian, a husband, a father of 4. I want the Commonwealth Court to be a place where every family, every community, and every business knows that they're going to receive a fair outcome. Whether you choose to vote on election day or with a mail-in ballot, I respectfully ask for your trust and your vote. And I would remind everybody, although we have 36 days until the election, on the election day, mail-in voting starts long before that. And so I would encourage everybody to get out and vote. It seems that this is referred to as an off-year election, and no one really cares about judicial candidates until you're standing in front of a judge. Then it's the most important person in your world. And I would encourage everybody to take it seriously and to get out and vote. And I thank you for your vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Judge Sy.
Okay, thank you. So just wanted to add that I too, as Matt, received a highly recommended rating from the Pennsylvania Bar Association. I'll just want to throw that out there. And I just also want to talk a little bit more about my work and life experience that informs how I approach decision-making as a judge. I've spent a lot of time doing pro bono and volunteer work when I was a lawyer, 10 years securing asylum for a Chinese refugee fleeing political persecution who ran aground in Rockaway Beach in New York. I also worked with public interest firms to protect voters' rights, and I have dedicated many hours as a lawyer, of course, and I've dedicated many hours helping HIV and AIDS patients in legal matters, including end-of-life issues. From those clients, I've learned how important it is to treat each person with respect and humanity, no matter where they come from. I've carried these values with me to court and do my best to ensure the courtroom and legal system that they are welcome and it's accessible to all. I know what it takes, I believe, to deliver justice or favor and democratic all holds Pennsylvania. This election on November 4th is it's important. That already said, it will determine the future of our court for judges. I just humbly ask for your votes. So thank you very much for your time and attention to these and I'm done.
Thank you. Thank you, Judge Sy and Mr. Wolford, for your time this evening. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule. We know how busy you both are.